yeah, you can probably see from the from the bar at the bottom of the screen that I'm recording this very late at night, as I tend to do, because that's when I have free time. And now we're getting into the game. So I'm starting with Cleffa, not a bad start because you get free retreat, and the grasping draw ability allows you to draw, not ability, attack, costs 0 energy, and it lets you draw until you have 7 cards in your hand. I am going first, however, and so obviously I'm not going to be attacking this turn. I'm just going to be trying to do as much as I can, trying to get that Teal Mask Ogerpon onto the bench, get some energy onto it with the Teal Dance ability. It lets you attach a basic grass energy from your hand with the effect of the ability, and then draw 1 card afterwards. Top deck the grass energy, which is pretty nice. And I have some pretty good Dragon-type Pokemon to put into the discard pile. If you're unfamiliar with Regidrago V-STAR is really good, and it has the attack Apex Dragon, which lets you just copy the attack of any Dragon-type Pokemon in your discard pile, which is pretty cool. You pretty much power up Regidrago V-STAR with the use of manual attachments as well as energy switches from the Ogerpons usually to the Regidrago V-STAR, and that's pretty much the deck. You get access to a lot of really good, really potentially devastating attacks to your opponent. Like I already mentioned, my opponent is playing Charizard. So I'm going first. This is the first turn of the game. I'm popping off pretty good. Ultra Balled for a bunch of stuff. I still got the Squawkabilly available to me, using a second Teal Dance, attaching, drawing another card, manual attaching the fire energy to the Regidrago V, and then I end my turn. So I do believe I already used Squawk and Seize on my bench, which only just accelerates how many cards you can go through in your deck. It's pretty crazy. Regidrago V-STAR also has a V-STAR ability that says you discard the top 7 cards of your deck, and then you get to select 2 cards from your discard pile and put them from your discard pile into your hand. Pretty interesting, right? That's a great way to sift through your deck. So potentially, if you were going, not even if you were going second, but potentially it's like you can use Squawk and Seize and discard your hand, draw 6. If you went second, you could also use Professor's Research, discard your hand, draw 7. And then on the preceding turn, if you get a Regidrago V-STAR up and running, you can use its V-STAR ability to sift through another 7 cards before you even play a supporter card. So it's very fast, it's very aggressive, it's very destructive, and that's Regidrago V-STAR. It is the Apex Dragon of the standard format right now. So energy switch, I'm selecting that. I have used Legacy Star, which is the name of the V-STAR ability. And I'm selecting energy switch and an Earthen Vessel, getting rid of a Dragapult EX, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab 2 grass energy. I want to be able to use those Teal Dance abilities. My opponent has the Great Tree in play, but we're looking at a Rotom V in the active, as well as a little 50 HP Pidgey on the bench, which is really good eating for copying the Phantom Dive attack on Dragapult EX, which of course does 200 base damage, and then you drop 6 damage counters on your opponent's benched Pokemon. So that's what I am trying to get off at this point in the game here against Charizard EX. Playing a Hisuian Heavy Ball just to check the prizes, and I have 2, count them, 2 energy switch. I believe that means that I have 2. No, I guess I only have 1 in the prizes. I don't know what that 2 is for. I guess that tells you how many you have left. I don't know. Anyhow, I'm going to put down another Regidrago V, and I'm going to use Grasping Draw to fill up my hand with some more options, because I wasn't able to get the attack off. I needed another energy switch in order to really get off that Phantom Dive attack this turn. Would have been pretty sweet, but I was 1 grass energy short. You may notice from the list that I am using that I am only running 2 Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. The reason for that is because in real life I only run 2 Teal Mask Ogerpon EX, and the reason for that is because you really only need 2. If you take a look at any of the streams Like if you look at Baltimore regionals, all of the top players that are playing Regidrago V-STAR, they only have 2 Teal Mask Ogerpon on the bench, because that's all you really need. You need 1 Teal Mask Ogerpon to pose a threat for attacking, and you need 1 Teal Mask Ogerpon to accelerate energy to, and then use as basically like a grass energy donor with the use of energy switch. And so I'm like, if you only need 2, then I could just run 2 and then use those other 2 slots for more consistency cards or more techs or more dragons, which is what I opted to do with this list. I opted to put in the Hisuian Goodra V-STAR because it's really good in the mirror match, and it's really good in a pinch when you need to be aggressive but also just a little bit more tanky, which we will see later in this match. So finally I'm getting the Phantom Dive off with the use of Apex Dragon, and I am going to take that Pidgey on the bench out of the equation. This is a 3 prize turn on, I believe, my 3rd turn of the game? I think it was my 3rd turn of the game. So scooping up 3 prizes. Now, of course, that is going to soup up Charizard EX, but I'm not too worried about it. I have the Teal Mask Ogerpon, which is a huge threat to Charizard EX. I can trade the 2 for 2 pretty easily. And I also have the energy switch in my hand. I have superior energy retrieval to get back grass energies in order to use more Teal Dance abilities. I have the Prime Catcher in my hand. I am just sitting on a lot of resources. Even the Hisuian Goodra V, I could discard potentially with the superior energy retrieval. My opponent is evolving up into the Charizard EX with the use of the Great Tree A-Spec Stadium, so they do not get the use of Charizard EX's ability that accelerates the energy. You have to keep that in mind. I suppose they didn't have a rare candy, and they manually evolved up with the Pidgeot EX. So we're going to see a quick search. There was a manual attachment made to the Charizard EX in the active spot, and then the Pidgeot EX is quick searching for, I don't exactly know what, I don't quite remember. We'll see it in a second though. I believe that they're going to flash it any second now. A switch. I don't know if that's what they quick search for, but they're playing a switch, and they're giving me a Rotom V in the active spot. Not really super sure about that. Instant charge to end their turn. Okay then. So, I think I make a little bit of a misplay here, if I remember correctly. I'm going to Teal Dance and dig a little deeper into the deck. There's another energy switch. I may be misremembering, however. I may be misremembering. Because I have the Prime Catcher. I could take out... I'm calculating. That's what I was doing. I was calculating if I had enough energy to take out the Charizard EX. I do have the energy switch though, because it's not enough to knock out the Charizard. But with the energy switch, I can take the donor Ogerpon to the attacking Ogerpon and take the knockout that way. Can't play superior energy retrieval because I don't have any basic energy in the discard pile. I think I was a little confused about that for a second. And I haven't even played a supporter yet. So I'm thinking, do I even want to Iono? Am I going to Iono them into good stuff? I don't want to do that. So I decided to just take 2 prizes. Excuse me. So I take 2 prizes, Nest Ball and Earthen Vessel, and then my opponent has to respond. Now they do respond in a bit of a desperate way. I do remember that they decide to try to stall me out. I only have 12 cards left in the deck. I haven't played a single switch, and I am in a really strong position, obviously, in this game against Charizard EX. Rare Candy into Charizard. They will get access to Charizard's ability in order to accelerate fire energy. So Infernal Rain, of course, the ability going off, accelerating 3 basic fire energy from the deck onto the field. I think they go, 2 to the Charizard EX, and then 1 to the Pidgeot EX. Not too sure why 1 to the Pidgeot EX. I guess just because You don't always have to get the 3 if it's not necessary. Like maybe he should have played, what was that? How did he get that? Maybe he should have played down the Charmander and then put 1 energy on the Charmander. I did not see a Radiant Charizard in this list either, which I thought was kind of weird. And then this was also weird, Xerosix Machinations. I had to discard 7 cards from my hand, but honestly all that does is help Regidrago V-STAR because I want stuff in the discard pile, and at this point in the game I have so many resources in my hand that are very good resources but also not super necessary resources. I only have 1 prize left to take. They still have 6 prizes left to take, and so I just discarded the fluff from my hand. I already knew what I was going to do for the next turns. I was glad that they took those 2 prizes, and I'm going to be promoting the Cleffa so that I have a free retreater, a single prize retreater in the active spot. So I'm thinking to myself, what do I want to do? They have 7 cards in their hand. I have 4 cards in my hand. Do I want to try to use Superior Energy Retrieval? Yes, I do. So I go ahead and get rid of Energy Switch and Ultra Ball, and I'm going to get 3 grass and 1 fire energy from the discard pile. The reason for that is because I do have Radiant Charizard in this list, and I want to be able to use Teal dances. I'm digging for it just a little bit for either the Radiant Charizard or a Night Stretcher or a Nest Ball. But I opt to just use Teal Dance and then attach a Grass Energy manually to the Teal Mask Ogerpon. I Iono myself down to 1, but of course I Iono myself into a Professor's Research. So I decide, do I want to attack or do I want to draw cards with Cleffa? Is that really something I want to do? I already have the research in my hand. I have lots of good stuff in the discard pile. Is it really what I want to do? No, I'm just going to go ahead and retreat into Regidrago V-STAR and then use Apex Dragon. And I want to be a little bit bulky here, so I decide to just use Rolling Iron. Rolling Iron does 200 base damage, but then you take 80 less damage on your preceding turn. So I've taken 5 prizes at this point. 180 plus 150 is 310 damage, but because of Rolling Iron, it's minus 80, which means it's 270, if I'm doing that math correctly. So it would be, if I'm doing the math correctly, and I very much might not be, it would be 270 damage from this Charizard EX on this Regidrago V-STAR, even though I've already taken 5 prizes. So Rolling Iron comes in pretty handy, actually, especially in situations like this, and like I mentioned before in the mirror match with Regidrago V-STAR as well. Just makes it a bit tankier. It effectively gives it what's 280 plus 80 340? No, it's 3 let's think about this. It's 360, right? And so he would be doing, with the Charizard EX, 150 plus 180, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 1. He would be doing 330. And I have 360. So yeah, so he would be short damage. Even though I've taken 5 prizes, he's still not doing enough with a Charizard EX. That's kind of crazy. So right now he's thinking to himself, all right, what do I want to do here? Do I want to attack? Do I want to gust something up? Does it matter? They have 4 prizes left to take. I still have 1 prize left to take. Only 1 prize left to take. And so Regidrago V-STAR just absolutely dominating, at least in this game, with Charizard EX. I will say that I think Charizard EX versus Regidrago V-STAR, it can be... it can be a little bit of a 50-50 in real life, at least. But online, you never know. The RNG just favors who's got the better hand. Like, I guess it just favored Regidrago V-STAR maybe this time. But that's the game. That's the game that we all know and love, isn't it? So, anyhow. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of... Oh, there's a boss's orders. That's pretty cool. A little late in the video to bring it up, but I've been doing a lot of real life testing and a lot of real life gameplay, going to Pokemon League at my locals and things like that. Haven't really been playing so much online, and obviously haven't been making too many videos for this channel. But I am happy to be making a gameplay video here on Team Vikavolt YouTube channel. Boss.Game TCG is its own thing. It's not predominantly a gameplay. In fact, the first 2 uploads are already there on Boss.Game TCG. And again, link in the description below. And both of them have to do with my real life collection, and no gameplay whatsoever. It's a little bit refreshing, and it's a little bit of a different take on the trading card game. So if you're interested in a little bit of show and tell with some of my own personal cards from the 14 plus years that I've been playing the card game and collecting cards along the way, then be sure to check that out if that's something that you would be interested in. So I'm going to go ahead and play the research and then Teal dance. Just rinse, wash, repeat, you know, accelerate the energy, play down the energy, use the abilities, and then try to get attacks off. They're trying to boss stall me right now. They don't think I play the switch, or they think maybe the switch is the one card in the prizes. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, I can't remember if switch was in my prizes from earlier or not. Getting a little bit nervous because I would hate to lose because I got boss stalled by a Charizard EX deck. But I'm checking the discard pile. There's no switch in there. And so I know I have one switch at least available to me somewhere, either in the prizes or in the deck at this point. But my opponent decides to quick search, and I don't know what they're going to quick search for. Maybe we shall never know. No, we'll definitely know. A fire energy manually attaching to the Charizard EX on the bench. A switch of their own into a fresh Charizard EX. But if they accelerate even one more energy, then I would be able to knock them out with a Teal Mask Ogerpon. I decided, at this point in the game, I said out loud, I said, let me scare them. So I went ahead and put a fire energy on the active Regidrago VSTAR. And I decided to not play the boss's orders. Even though I have 2 in my hand, I don't want them to know that I have options. I want them to continue to think that I am stuck in the active. But I also wanted to make them a little bit nervous by putting a fire energy on the Regidrago VSTAR and make them think that I had a way to get those energy switches, that I had a way to get like 1 grass energy attachment and then 1 energy switch afterwards. I'm just trying to bluff and get them to do something reckless and play a little bit of chicken with them to see if they're going to leave me in the active and keep stalling me out, or if they're going to get nervous and take the 2 prize knockout, which basically would hand me the game. And so my opponent setting up more resources, more things in play, and having to decide, am I going to take the prizes, or am I going to risk that he has a switch in his hand or a way to switch, and then that's game either way. Am I going to take the risk, or am I going to take the reward? Which one is it going to be? And after some very suspenseful thinking, my opponent decides to use Burning Darkness and take 2 prizes. Even though I have everything else on the board, I don't need anything. I don't need anything. All I need to do is attack a Charizard, and or even a Charmander. I just need to attack anything but a Pidgeot EX. I got a little bit paranoid. I'm like, oh, do I have enough energy? Let me just play it safe, and I'm going to boss a Charizard EX and do 360 damage to this Charizard EX and take the game with Regidrago VSTAR.